Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. Good evening, everyone. We'll call to order the regular meeting of the East Ridge City Council, August 13th, 2020. As everyone's aware, we are still conducting our meeting via electronic means, via Governor Lee's newest Executive Order 51, which will remain in effect until the end of the day, August the 29th. And I'll pass it to our city attorney for a little more explanation.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, and in continuance of the executive order issued by Governor Lee, that this body has made it a determination that for the health, safety, and welfare of the community and the citizens, it would be conducting these meetings virtually. And so in accordance with the Governor executive order, we want it reflected in the meetings that this body has made that determination, and therefore in the best interest of the community, they're going to conduct this meeting virtually in accordance with the Governor's executive order.
Thank you, sir. All right, I would like to ask Robert Jones if he will lead us in our invocation and our pledge, if everyone will stand.
Let us pray. Omniscient God, we know that your thoughts are not our thoughts, nor are your ways our ways. For the heavens are higher than the earth, so are your ways higher than our ways. Your thoughts are higher than ours. But we ask that you reveal to us your thoughts throughout this meeting. Let our ways be aligned with your ways throughout the meeting. In Jesus' name, let this meeting be aligned with thee and a reflection on your heavenly activity. Amen.
Amen.
Let's do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. You guys have a good meeting.
You have a good evening. Thanks.
That was good then. I'm getting ready to do
Roll
this
call, Ms.
show.
Middleton.
I don't know if I want to take a shower or just dip my hair in.
Mayor Williams,
Here.
Vice Mayor Helton, Councilmember Cagle,
Here.
Councilmember Chauncey,
Here.
Councilmember Witt,
Here.
City Manager Dorsey,
Here.
City Attorney Litchford.
Here.
All right, we'll move to item 4, approval of the minutes of the July the 23rd, 2020 council meeting. I assume everyone's had an opportunity to read the minutes. I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Yeah, I think there's a little lag. All right, so I've got a motion from, I heard first from Councilmember Witt and a second from Vice Mayor Helton. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Helton, Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. All right, we'll move to item 5, communications from citizens. Since there was no opportunity for live citizens' comments during the meeting, any citizen desiring to address the city council had an opportunity to submit their comments via the email to me at mayor@eastridgetn.gov from 12 noon Wednesday, August the 12th through 12 noon August the 13th. Please keep in mind any citizen or business owner may contact the city, the council, the city manager, or myself at any time. I did receive several emails. Some of these did not have an address. Some of these did not state whether they were addressing me with a question or referencing to be read at the council meeting. And I actually emailed one for clarification. I did not get a response. So these have been forwarded to our city manager and our police chief. These are regarding some noise concerns, some speeding concerns, Also, another one concerning noise and parking issues. So I don't know if, and I do have one that I'm going to read. I don't know if City Manager Dorsey or Chief Allen would like to comment on anything concerning the noise and parking and speeding emails that was forwarded.
Yes, I'll start with Chief Allen to talk about the noise ordinances we have. Chief?
Yes, Mayor and Council, looked into the complaint, and we have had several complaints about the noise in this area. We're stepping up our patrols in that area. We also clarified to the officers our noise ordinance. Our noise ordinance does not say it's only enforced from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. It says particularly in those hours, but it's in effect at all times. They get a complaint, they'll address it. If they have to go back, they're going to start citing people. If repeat offenders, cite them to court for a violation of the noise ordinance.
Thank you. And we have had a couple emails in addition to this, just dealing with speeding. And I've talked with Chief Allen about that. And I've had issues with speeding before, and obviously it is a concern of many residents that always comes up, especially a lot of times right around when school starts. It seems that comes out a lot. A lot of times they ask if we can do speed humps to control speeding. We are not self-insured. We're insured through the public entity partners, and there are liabilities with speed humps that come with those being an inherent defect in the road. With that could cause serious issues for us, so the city does not opt into putting in or installing any speed humps for that reason. The other thing deals with, some people say, well, if you're speeding down our street, why don't you put a stop sign at the corner to slow them down? Well, the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices states in there the purposes of stop signs, and the purpose of the stop sign is to assign right-of-way when you come to an intersection. If you go through a warrant study and it shows that direction on right-of-way is needed for that intersection, whether it's a two-way stop, or three-way stop, or four-way stop, that's what the purpose of a stop sign is. It even actually says within the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices that a stop sign shall not be used to control speed. That is not its purpose. It's to assign right-of-way. It is not to be used for speed. Did you have anything you wanted to add with that?
Now, I can address the specific complaint if you'd
Please.
like. The email that you forwarded to the city manager and to me, Mayor, addressed a particular place. It said they had complained numerous times. I had our assistant chief go back and look through the computer-aided dispatch reports for the last 2 years for this particular address. We've had one complaint about speeding, and we got that Tuesday this week. Also, I contacted Mike Ailey, our traffic department director. He did a speed survey on this particular street in late May, early June of last year. It found that out of the 4,800 cars that used the road during that week, there were 2 that were at a speed that was what he considered an enforceable limit, which was 11 miles over the speed limit. We don't have a particular speed that we enforce, but there were only 2 out of the 4,800 that were more than 10 miles an hour over the speed limit. Obviously, any speed can be a problem. Anytime a car is speeding, it can end up in a crash, but there's just doesn't seem to be a lot of enforceable activity on this street.
And like we said, a lot of those side residential streets, the speed limit's 20 or 25 right now anyway.
This particular street, the speed limit is 25.
In addition, I've had this come up before. If a street's narrow, even a car going 30 miles an hour down a very narrow street can seem like it's going a lot faster than it really is.
Oh, absolutely.
So. That's all we have.
Okay. Now let's scoot this back. The speed survey, was that the little cart, or is that some other method of doing the speed survey?
The traffic department does those speed
Okay.
surveys, and I'm not exactly sure how they do that.
It's not the little speed wagon that you bring out and set
No,
up?
that one doesn't always record, but that's just whatever the traffic department does.
Let me turn these others off,
If that helps.
see if that helps. Okay, thank you.
May I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
How about the complaints we've been having at McBride, coming from Bennett down the hill there? Because I know they've been 2 or 3 mailboxes and fences tore up there.
We haven't had any complaints from there in quite a while. We think that we've got them slowed down.
The yard is beside my house. It goes out to McBride there. That's right in the middle of those curves. Their mailbox was tore down about a month ago when they put up. The only way I found out about it was they put it all over Facebook. So,
Right, we did some enforcement, and again, when somebody wrecks, obviously that's a big concern, but there's just not that many of them. We had our speed trailer out there for a while, but I haven't gotten any complaints, and I haven't seen any Facebook complaints in several weeks. I'm
I know
hoping
that corner house there, each corner of his fence has been tore down due to cars coming up, cars pulling out of Lazard and knocking it down, sliding into the quarter of the fence. They may not be reporting it and just might be backing up and going on, may not have a driver's license, you know?
Right.
So, but you could tell they've been a lot of accidents there. I won't even go out that way to try to get out McBride Road.
I don't have the numbers with me, but I did look and check on the number of accidents, traffic crashes in that block. It was not exorbitantly high.
It hadn't been exorbitantly until here lately, yeah.
But when you get damage, especially to somebody's private property that's not even in a car, it's a concern.
New neighbors move in a block, so.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So the last communication email was from Richard Cook, 706 Marble Avenue. He asked what the status of the multimodal improvement project on Ringo Road and how much money has been spent already on this project to acquire right-of-way.
So as many of you know, we've been discussing this project for a number of years, and if anyone has traveled Ringo Road recently, you'll see that there's been new utility poles that's been set. Part of this process is obtaining the right-of-way that we need. We're in the last 4 to 6 properties. Those properties has been sent off to go through a different process that we need to go through because we were unable to reach settlements, or the company, I say, was unable to reach settlements. So it's really coordination at this point. Once the right-of-ways finalized on the last few properties, EPB will work to redo the utilities, and then at that point, we'll be able to submit off for our notice to proceed for bid and construction. So the process is actually, from here on out, we'll be moving a little bit more rapidly. It's just going property to property and negotiation for whether it be construction easements or having to access or purchase additional right-of-way. So we're actually moving in the right direction, and that process, like I say, you should start seeing some more activity over the next several months to get us hopefully where we need to be to move forward.
I've seen the utility poles being moved
Yes.
quite rapidly.
And that was something that we started those negotiations probably 3 years ago, at least 3 years ago with EPB. And then we started having discussions within the last 6 to 8 months about, okay, we're in the right-of-way phase. We need to start getting poles relocated. And EPB has another master plan that they're working on. I mean, they're really wanting to do some things throughout the city. So you're going to continue to see a lot of things that relates to EPB, from transmission to distribution, and how we're going to do that throughout the city as it relates to Ringo Road, which will help our 41 corridor project. And I believe Diane's got the numbers that you're asking for.
What do you think, what kind of time you think it's going to go rapidly with these 4 or 5 pieces of property?
That's up for judges to sign off on at that point, so,
And one is in front of the school board.
yes.
Yes, we have addressed one within front of the school board. That's correct.
So, like I say, we're just down to these last few. Once we
Okay.
have all those, because you can't get a notice to proceed for bid or anything until right-of-way is secure. So once that phase is done, and then we'll start being able to move on through the process.
Awesome. Thank you.
We have spent on right-of-ways $593,236.25.
Can you repeat that?
Okay, $593,236.25.
I want to know who got the quarter.
Well, I had it like there was some, I guess there are negotiations. We did end up with a few odd numbers.
You need a quarter to call somebody.
That's right.
Thank you. I'll pass this down. Councilman Kagan, will you pass that down? We'll have that put in the minutes. Thank you. All right, that's all we have for the for citizen communication. So I will move now into communications from council members. I'll start with Councilmember Witt.
Well, I just want to remind everybody about the census. It's still going on. If you haven't reported, you need to. We are 64.6%. That's not really good, but it's better than a lot of places. Tennessee is just 62.8. So I'm hearing that the training has started, and if anybody's interested, they need to get in touch with Earl Wilson because he has a phone number. And they're paying a $500 bonus to these people that want to work the census. So that might entice some extra people to go through the training. And that's all I have.
Awesome. So if a lot of people don't have Earl's contact, they can reach out to the City Hall? And you can
Right,
put them
City
in
Hall
touch.
or me.
Or you, okay.
Yes.
And do you know when door-to-door is going to start occurring?
No, not at this point because they're all still in training. So as soon as I get that information, I'll give it to you.
Okay.
But,
I know I've heard where they definitely will be identified. There'll be identifiable badges. They will be wearing masks. So they're going to do all precautions for social distancing and things like that when they do start going door to door.
If you saw on the news tonight, the Chattanooga Complete Count Committee, they're going to be in Oak Grove this weekend passing out door knockers with the information on it because they had such a low return there. So
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
you're welcome.
Councilmember Chauncey?
I have nothing, Mayor.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Hilton? Okay. Councilmember Cagle?
No, sir, I have nothing.
All right. I usually do. So I'll have a full page full of stuff I'd like to cover. We had July the 30th, I had the virtual meeting for Meet the Mayor from 7 to 8. It went well. It was a light turnout, but it was well. I apologize for not getting that video uploaded yet. I will do that. I've had a brief vacation and been covered up since, but I'll get that posted by the end of this weekend. A couple other things that have occurred I wanted to remind everyone about what had occurred. We had the 10th Annual Classic Car Show was August the 1st from 9 to 3. That was sponsored by River City Corvette Club and O'Reilly's Auto Parts. There was lots of beautiful cars, merchandise stands. They has prize giveaway. I know East Ridge Needy Child Fund gave away a Champions gift card. And then the 50-50 drawing, there was over $600 went to an individual. So that was very good. And all the proceeds of this will go to the East Ridge Needy Child Fund and Hospice of Chattanooga. They split that 50-50, not only from that event, for all the events they do throughout the year. The other thing was that same day, August 1st at 5, the Red Wolves had their first home game. They successfully defended their den, so they won their first home game. So we're very proud of that. They actually were supposed to have a game last night, and it got delayed and then postponed due to bad weather. So that's going to be rescheduled, and we'll try to inform everybody when that occurs. Top Golf. They opened last Friday. I was out of town, so I'm going to get down there shortly, if not the end of this week, this weekend for sure. We're very excited to have Topgolf choose Eastridge and expect them to do extremely well. I'm very excited about the 36 bays of golf, and they also have 18 holes of miniature golf, and they have lawn seating arrangements, so it's very great family friendly, so I'm very excited about that. Also, we had recently opened iPatch cell phone repair location that's down there around Dunkin' Donuts and Firehouse Subs around Mac Smith Road and Ringo Road. So I will use them when I've had to have several phones repaired. So now I have a local place to go when that occurs. Glad to see them come to Eastridge. The other thing is, I've noticed Dr. Carruthers has actually put a post out. We're very excited about Eastridge Family Dental. He had a bit of a slowdown due to COVID-19, but he's now started the construction phase, and this is in the old Kingwood Pharmacy buildings. We're very excited for Eastridge Family Dental. Also, we have a new restaurant that's going to be open next Monday. It's Tata's Grill. That's going to be at Spring Creek Plaza. That's 5716 Ringo Road. Can't wait to get down there and try some Bosnian food. Very, very excited for that. Also, if you've been down Camp Jordan Parkway, you'll notice Jonathan's is looking very well. The name's up on the building. Looks like it's completely enclosed, so we're getting close. So we're very excited to have that opening soon. And if you've been by Jonathan's and saw that, you'll see that we have a Dairy Queen framed up and now out of the ground and looking very well. So a lot of good things are happening, and we're very excited for all this. And I think that's it for me. Yes, you may.
I spoke with Amir at Tata's today, and he's having a soft opening tonight.
Tonight.
Tonight, if
Thank
anybody
you.
would like to come, yeah.
And that ends till when?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
You'll have to hurry.
I'm trying. I'll try. I'll try, but I usually have people that cause problems with me. That's at the Spring Creek Plaza. That's right there at the creek, Spring Creek, right before, you know where Dollar General is? Groom Transportation, right down in there on the right. Okay, used to
Right
be
next door to where O'Reilly's used to be,
across the creek from O'Reilly's. If you've been here a long time, you know, it is exactly where Mobile Home City was. All right, that's all for me. So I will pass it to the city manager.
Thank you. Just got a few things. First, just want to let the council know that we have put the bids out right now for the parking lot expansion we talked about before over at Camp Jordan. That's going to be right behind the amphitheater area between the soccer and baseball fields. In addition to that, we also have the bid out because we wanted to have some synergy with this, so we also put the bid out at the same time for paving over in that area with the, I think it's at McDonald and Hilton is the area that we've also included for paving with that. Figuring they're already going to have the mobilization over there for the parking lot, it would make sense to try to do both those things at the same time. We have been working on our weekly calls with FEMA. The recovery dollars are looking good. Kenny and his crew helped come together to finalize a few of the spreadsheets for us within the Public Works area, and he got very high compliments this week on the call about how they were put together and the way they were organized and everything else. So I just want to thank him and that crew for the work they've done on that. Next, we've already mentioned the fact we're finishing up the right-of-way on Ringgold Road, so I can skip that one. We have also received the plans for the construction of those other 4 soccer fields we talked about before at Camp Jordan. We're reviewing those right now, and we're waiting. We may put those out to bid in the next week or two. We're also looking at what the irrigation might be over there. In addition to that, where are we? We're looking into the other resurfacing projects that we have, specifically the ones that were at one point held up from WWTA over there off of McBrien and John Ross. We've got those, like I said, we've got those back in the pipeline, and we'll have an updated timeline on those very soon to share with the council. The last item I have deals with a police car that was wrecked was involved in a wreck. It wasn't the policeman's fault. Over on East Brainerd Road, right? Wasn't it? He was hit by a drunk driver, I believe, which is ironic.
Yes, yes, sir, he was hit by a drunk driver.
So with that, we had a repair bill on it, and I'll let Diane take over from there.
Okay, the damage on this police car, one of the black ones, was a lot. Thankfully, there were no injury to our police officer, so that's good. But the bill came in, and this was covered by our insurance. We hope to recoup, but don't know if they even had insurance at this point still. It was $14,352.54. And we wanted to let y'all know that we've already received the $13,000. It was a $1,000 deductible that we have to pay. So we've already received the check that will pay for the difference. But I wanted to let y'all know, because this is above our $10,000. But we, like I said, we have the money coming for it. I will amend the budget to reflect that. I just wanted to put y'all on notice that we're going to be paying that, and to ask for your blessing.
And with the expenditure over 10,000, I don't know if you want a quick vote from the council.
Yes.
To recognize.
I mean, I'm going to do a budget amendment. I have to, because I also have to put in for some good things, like the $493,000 from the governor. I have received that, so I'll be doing a budget amendment for that. I'm actually doing budget amendments because we're gotten quite a bit of revenue because of COVID that has come from the state. So we'll be working on that. So I will enclose this amendment with it also, because they did not have $13,000 budgeted in the traffic division for that.
So does that mean that the repair is started, or it's awaiting approval of this council before?
Actually,
That's probably already.
well, it's done.
And it's done, okay.
Yes, it's done. We use Fines Body Shop. They always give up, they work really well with us.
Okay,
The parts came in, and they were able to get to it. I think it was out for a month, wasn't it?
okay,
They were waiting to get parts.
awesome.
So, and I'll be honest, all of a sudden it clicked in my mind,
Over 10,
over 10.
tell council.
I've never had one that large. So, but that is what it is.
Okay.
I'd like to properly get this on notice. So are you going to get the budget amendments for the next meeting?
It'll be at the next meeting.
We
Yes,
can
sir.
do it then, and let's put it on there at that time.
Okay. But I just wanted to let y'all know
Thank you.
that was going on. And also, while I'm standing here, if it's all right, sir, I was going to let you know, you had asked at the last meeting about our submission to Hamilton County for the $7,500.
Yes,
I got the final what I needed. I have submitted that for reimbursement to them.
okay,
So hopefully, we should have it soon.
awesome. I'll be glad to follow up. And that's the donation that Mr. Boyd,
Yes, the $7,500 that he
Commissioner
donated
Boyd donated
for the police department.
for the
Yes,
police
sir.
department, which is a reimbursable. So we needed to provide them with our
Right.
expense and where we paid for that. So that's been done. So now we should be receiving $7,500 from the county. Thank you.
Thank you, and that's all I have.
One question I have concerning the resurfacing. Have you been able to get any, and I'm sure you haven't, but I'm going to ask, from the state of Tennessee concerning some of these intersections where we've got some bad road, where
Well,
off
the
of that,
McBride
does
one will
it-
get taken care of by itself when we do the resurfacing there.
Okay.
The other ones, I know Kenny and I were looking at trying to get GPS information from them to find out exactly how far their apron,
They
as I
extend,
call it, goes
right.
past the intersection. Because I know it goes right past it, because if your sidewalks go around, I'm guessing it's going to be right at that point, but I know we were still trying to get clarification on that.
It is, but if you all will recall, the what is visible at each of those intersections is the old pea gravel style, which have been that way for 20 plus years, of them not expanding over towards the primary artery roads. So there's a couple different things we're working on to see when their paving project's going to be. We would like to coordinate their paving project with the multimodal completion project, so we're not tearing stuff up and doing things twice. If that does not meet their criteria to move over to the sides. We know that we have some money or some funds that's going to be coming starting October the 1st of 2022 that may allow us to, especially for your main functional classification roads, will allow us to make some of those repairs. So either way, we're working several different angles to come up with a solution. So we just don't want to put one thing out there and say, this is what we're going to do. We're working 3 different angles, and we're going to have a solution. It's just, I just don't know which one's going to be the best fit yet and which one's going to happen the fastest. Because one issue that we have is the loops in each one of those. So every one of those are going to have to be redone.
Yep.
You know, and then there's conversation about loops versus cameras. Loops are about $2,000, cameras are $36,000. So we're also in the part of an integrated, we're in talks with the city of Chattanooga on an integrated system because they're working on it through Brainerd, on Brainerd Road. Our traffic control department are meeting with them regularly. They're applying for this large grant. As we get more into the details, the city manager and myself will start attending those meetings to see what all is going to be involved to make this system work wholly. So there's a few things that's coming through, but yes, we're working on all the intersections as well. And if you don't mind, there's one other thing. I appreciate the kind words on the FEMA stuff, but I would like to say that the bones of that was put together before we ever touched it. Amanda worked on that for several weeks. Our staff took it and then just kind of ran with it, and they did an excellent job, but it took a lot of people. It wasn't me. I just overseen some of it, and they did do a fabulous job. One other thing I'd like to add is we had an employee that took another job. It was a great job for them. Jennifer Holder, which was a really good person I've known for a long time, went to work at Volkswagen, so I congratulate her on that. And then we're promoting a lady that's been with us for 10 months from part-time to full-time, and her name is Lee Stacy. So we're really happy to have her on board also. So that's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kenny. And I apologize, Amanda, I forgot to mention you. You did get a lot of the groundwork and the initial expenditures and a lot of those spreadsheets that I put together, so thank you for that as well. I also wanted to mention, in case you haven't driven west yet, we trimmed a lot of the kudzu and cleaned up around the entrance to the tunnel.
Thank you. Thank you. That's been near and dear to my heart.
Now, since he's brought up the tunnel,
Yes.
what is the holdup with the state getting the lights in there where you can see?
Well,
We,
I sent an email. I told the mayor last week. I sent a follow-up email to TDOT to ask them what the status was. I didn't get an answer back. They were supposed to have been put in the end of July, beginning of August.
Right.
They were because all the lights that are out technically are on the Chattanooga side.
Yeah.
But they were supposed to have been ordered, brought in, and installed by the beginning of August. Whether COVID's had anything to do with it, I don't know. But I did put an email, like I said, request back out to them. But I haven't heard back.
dark.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it is. It is.
Well, thank you. All right, so we will now move into old business. So item A, ordinance number 1131.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge to amend Title IV, Chapter 2 of the City of East Ridge Municipal Code pertaining to paid leave.
This will be the second and final reading.
Excuse me. As you said, we're on our second and final reading. I don't know if you want me to go back through the whole thing. We talked about it 2 weeks ago. Basically, this changes the vacation and sick leave that we are going to institute that instead of paid time off for those employees that were hired after July 1st, on or after July 1st, 2012. With this, they will be able to, in addition to getting vacation time, they'll be able to earn sick time, and that sick time can be accumulated and can help them either A, when they leave, it would go towards retirement. It counts as a service credit towards calculations towards retirement. In addition, it's also a good safety valve for them if they get hurt or if they get sick, that they'll actually have that time to be able to use, and it won't count against their vacation. And this is all because of what happened with the cap and everything back in 2012, where the council at that time changed how they were going to be handled. The employees that were hired after that date, they would no longer be getting be part of the leave buyback program. In addition to that, The cap was still in place for 320, but for some reason, it wasn't being followed. So we had to correct that problem. In addition, this still keeps those caps in place. We haven't touched the caps. It's always been there. But with that, those employees will be able to, like I said, anything over 320, any hours that are still in excess of that on their vacation side will be changed over into sick. It'll be accrued on earned on the sick time for them as well. So it'll help them in that way as well.
And so anyone hired prior to July 1, 2012 is on the leave buyback program, but they will have an opportunity to convert to the new plan that's been put in place since then.
If this I was going to say, yes, thank you. If this passes,
A one-time opportunity.
then they'll have a one-time opportunity. If they want to switch over to the new plan, that they will be allowed to do that. And the expiration date on that would be August 31st. So they'd have a little over 2 weeks, 17 days, 18 days, something like that, to be able to switch over if they want to take advantage of this new plan.
Okay.
But otherwise, it does not touch those individuals that were hired before July 1st of 2012.
All right.
Open for discussion now, or we're gonna wait?
I would like to follow Robert's rule and get a motion in a second, and then we can definitely have a discussion. So I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 1131.
I second.
All right, I have a motion from Councilmember Chauncey and a second from Councilmember Witt. So now we'll open for discussion.
Yeah, I've got several things here. Like I said at the last meeting, I'd still like to see all employees under the ordinance 761. All right, and since we have give the employees prior to 212 the opportunity to come into could we give the employees that's hired after 212 the opportunity to go back to the old plan, which was never offered to them to begin with? And then these are things that I'd like to see. Now, here's
I don't know if you want to answer as you're going along, because I may
Okay,
forget.
okay,
That's all.
okay.
I was
Go
just,
ahead. Go
that's
ahead.
all. Okay, so the first two are pretty much the same thing,
Yeah.
right? We have in place where employees can go to the new plan. The old plan was never offered to those employees because they weren't around for it to be offered to. They cut off the old plan on June 30th of 2012. One reason that was changed was, and we even heard this from the auditors, is that it's financially irresponsible and unsustainable to have that sort of expense put back on the city. There's no way we'd be able to handle that in the future. I want to say the last leave buyback we actually had was like 200 and something thousand. And in order to do something like that for all new employees, your number could go up to 500, 600,000 unless we're going to raise taxes. We don't have a funding source for that. And so the reason I did all this to begin with was to correct the problems that were in that original 2012 ordinance. And your next question, I'm sorry.
The employees after 212 build their sick leave. City has already brought them down to 320, correct?
I fixed the problem that was there before July 1st, yes.
But you bought all the ones that had over 320 down
Back to 320,
320.
yes.
Okay. Now, they're all back down to 320. They start building their accumulated time. Next March, their sick leave, their over 320 rolls back into sick leave.
Correct.
Correct. Okay. Now, say this employee has been here 7, 8, 9 years. So he keeps that 320 hours in the bank, per se in the bank there. His vacation leave.
He's earned it, he's accrued it, yes.
So he has decided to leave. Are we going to buy it back from him?
Yes, and that's a normal employment law. I mean, that's anywhere, if you have accrued vacation or benefits that have been built up, you pay those back upon termination or when they leave.
And
that's not sick time, that's just the vacation. The sick time has no cash value. That's more of a privilege than a benefit. We have that in place on purpose.
After it rolls over into sick leave, it don't belong to the employees anymore, it belongs to the city.
Right. But it helps them.
Yeah, but they
to
can
use.
earn credit for it.
Yes, and they
To
can
years of
use that
service.
instead of using a vacation day if they're
Yes.
sick.
So
Yes.
they actually still got the buyback privilege when they decide to leave employment.
No. The buyback privilege is for over 320. Even the ones before 2012,
Okay.
when they get bought back every single year down to 320, whenever they leave, they get that 320 paid out too. That's in any company. I don't know anywhere where you forfeit, unless I'm mistaken, anywhere where you would forfeit vacation that you've accrued when you leave. That's any business.
I'm saying buyback, all right. We turn it over into March. They decide to leave in June. They've got everything over 320 built. That plus the 320 back,
The highest they can be at is 320. So that would be converted over to sick. The cap by council is 320.
in other words, they need to take their vacation as they earn it.
They have to, now you're saying what? If they're leaving in 2 months after the March?
Yes, sir, that's
Or
what
in
I'm saying,
general?
January, before the next March turns around.
Right.
So they've got 320, a guy with 5 years employment or 4 years employment is billed in 120 hours. So he's got 320 plus the, say, 100 hours. That's 420. You gonna buy the 420?
Don't know, I'd have to look into that, but odds are, I think the cap is still 320. It says it. We just check it every March. I would assume we can't pay them back more than 320. The rest would be converted to sick.
It says we check it every month. That's when it rolls into.
That's when we make the
But
correction.
They got till March to take these 120.
If they don't leave early.
What I'm saying, but if they leave early, I know I'm gonna leave, so I'm gonna ask for 2 weeks vacation or 3 weeks.
Well, if they're smart, they take their well, I shouldn't say that. They take their vacation before they leave. They can do that. That's their right. They can take vacation.
But they are gonna get to sell back the 320. We will buy.
You don't
back the
sell it. It's part of the severance
We'll
package when
buy
they
back the
leave.
320.
We don't buy back it. No. It's automatically, it's cashed out as part of when they leave, just like at any other job anywhere else. If you have vacation built up, you get that paid back. I believe I'm looking at you, Mark. I believe that's employment law.
Well, it's a right they would have accrued. They don't get
Yes.
that taken back, so they would be entitled to that reimbursement.
Yes.
So there's no way we can offer prior to 12 the option to go to the 761 ordinance.
You mean the new employees? No. I mean, council can do anything they want.
But I'm
That's
one
answering it,
councilman.
but
I'm one councilman.
I know, but to make sure I qualify my answer, council can do anything they want, but, they ask for our advice and our opinions, and we even had the auditors in here stating that the old format says some of the things we had were financially irresponsible and financially unsustainable. Other states don't, we just couldn't do it.
Our employees is our biggest liability that we've got.
Depends on how you look at it. They're a liability, they're also the biggest blessing we have, because they're the ones that help us get everything done.
Yeah, they're our biggest asset.
Yes, exactly.
That's the same thing, but you're saying the liability is dollars, and so that's what I'm saying. Their salaries is the biggest asset.
More than 60% of every operating budget is just personnel, because we don't sell stuff. We
service.
don't do this. We provide a service, and to provide a service, it's people. That's your expenditure. So more than 60% of your budget is always personnel. Government.
Any other questions? I'm sorry, were you?
Oh, no, I'm just gonna say again that I still like to see all employees have the option to pick which leave package they want.
To that note, let me ask the question. So we have about, I usually wait till last, but I'm already started. So you said we had about 230,000 annually on the existing pre-2012?
Yes, you were close. Yes, sir. I actually have from 2015 to 2020 what we have paid out each year. We have paid out total $1.3 million in that amount of years. It averages $220,000 a year that
And
is
that's-
paid out in leave buyback.
And every year, if you're able to get salary adjustments and, salary increases, that number is just going to keep going
It
up.
goes up because it's not what you earned it at, it's what you're making right now.
Yeah, you're being paid back at the salary you're currently making.
Yes, at the salary that you currently have. So, and like I said, this year we paid out a lot more because we bought everybody down.
Yeah, but let's don't factor that one in.
Yeah, so if we had
So about
not bought
220.
those people down, we spent $223,273, which is about normal. We arrange
And
about.
that's roughly how many
That
employees?
is 61, we have 61 in 2020 that had buyback.
Almost half.
61. So how many, that's what I was going.
This year, in 2021, we have 58 that will have leave buyback because we've had some retire.
Right.
So, and in some departments, now you don't have anybody that has leave buyback because they're on the new one because they're newly hired. So, but as he said, when I came to work here in 2011, the accounting firm we had then that Cleto was with said the same thing. It's a plan that's not sustainable over the years. And you just have to look at, like I said, employees are, we wouldn't be a city without the employees. But, it's just the facts of life. I know that sounds terrible, and I am one that gets leave buyback. But I'm also one that chooses to take vacations because I believe you need to have a vacation. So,
In that 61 is approximately half.
About half. A
About
little
half.
under
We
half.
probably, a little under half.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we done the quick math. If we doubled that, then it'd be somewhere around 440.
Yes. It'd be
Close to half a
close to
million?
$500,000 a year.
Okay.
And you would have to look at, you would either cut services or raise taxes to be able to fund that, to be honest. Yeah, to be honest, that's what you're going to look at. So I'm just selling all the bad news.
All right. Any other questions, sir? Anyone else? Any other questions? I see none. I'll reiterate, we have a motion by Councilmember Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Witt. So with no other questions, roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Helton. Councilmember Cagle.
No.
Councilmember Chauncey.
Yes.
Councilmember Witt.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Ordinance 1131 passed second and final reading. Ordinance number 1132.
An ordinance to amend the East Ridge City Code, Title II, Boards and Commissions, to amend Title II by adding Chapter 2 to provide certain board and commission requirements. Mayor and Council, this was brought previously back in July 23rd, and at that time there was a motion that was approved to make two changes. One was to limit board participation to one, and in other words, stated differently, an individual cannot serve on more than one board, and you should have a red line copy in your booklet for you to see that change. That came in section 2-101. And then the other was, since there was going to be appointments for tonight, there was discussion at the last meeting to make this ordinance take effect September 1 so as not to interfere, because this would come into effect if it's passed as it is right now. It would come into effect right now, and then we're going to have board appointments, 3 here shortly, that aren't going to otherwise comply with the application process and the notice process. So this body decided to pass this or make it effective September 1. So I've added that as the other amendment. Those are the only two amendments made differently from what we discussed in July 23rd at our last meeting.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I will entertain a motion for ordinance number 1132. All right, we have
Can we discuss something?
Yes, yes. Let me just reiterate, we have a motion from Vice Mayor Helton and a second from Councilmember Cagle. And we have discussion?
Yes, I've had 3 weeks to contemplate the one person per board amendment, and I conclude that most boards meet on an as-needed basis. Some boards, such as personnel and zoning appeals, they rarely meet. I move to modify section 2-101D to limit it to 2 city boards. The goal of the council is to appoint qualified people to our boards. Our preference would be to avoid placing the same people on the boards, but in the event no one else qualified may be, maybe have applied for it, we need to have the option of not going back and redoing this amendment. So I'm very much for bringing new appointees on board, but to limit it to 1 doesn't give us the leeway that we might need in the future. So I trust the council, each of us, to look at the applications we get and to do qualified people. But in the event we needed to put someone on the same board, I would like to be able to do that if we didn't have qualified people. So I encourage East Ridge citizens to participate, to fill out the application. We're going to keep it on file. And but I honestly feel that we should go back to at least putting it as 2 members on each board, on the board. 2 boards for each member.
All right, so Councilmember Witt, you
I'd like to make a motion.
You motioned or you moved to
amend, yeah.
For section 2-101D
2-101D.
to be 2.
Limited to 2 city
Okay.
boards. People to 2 city boards.
All right, we have a motion.
I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a motion to amend by Councilmember Witt and a second by Councilmember Chauncey. Do we have any discussion?
I will say I do agree with Councilmember Witt's. I realize it is hard to find qualified individuals to serve on these boards, and we do have several boards that, one in particular, the Personnel Board and the Zoning Appeals Board, that may meet once or twice a year. But I still am very much in favor of making it a very transparent and open process where people can openly apply, and I do want to make an extra effort to try to avoid putting one individual on 2 different boards. But in the event that we feel like it's best for the city to do so, then I would like to have that option. So that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Yes. All right, thank you. Any other discussion? I will concur. I do think that, and I think Councilman Cagle, you pointed out that some boards don't even meet or rarely meet. So why I kind of agree, kind of penalize someone that's on that board that may want to also fulfill their service and provide a service on another board. So, I will kind of go along with that as well. And one other thing I've been thinking about, Councilman Cagle, you brought up was, on some of these, you only attend 1 or 2 meetings, and we had the 70% rule that they needed to attend. That actually was, we may require a removal. It didn't mean it shall. So I'm sure that this council would take that in consideration if it ever occurred, that we would look at the number of meetings and the reasoning if someone happened to miss a meeting. All right, so I'm going to look to the attorney. So we need to vote on the amended.
Currently, we have on the floor an amendment to ordinance 1132, which would be an amendment to section 2-101D to modify that to 2 city boards instead of 1 city board. That's currently what we're voting on at this time.
Okay. No more than 2.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
No,
Councilmember Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. All right, so we have the amendment approved.
And so now we'll go back to what was originally, it's the ordinance 1132 as amended by the approved motion to change 2-101D from 1 city board to 2 city boards.
All right, any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
no,
Councilmember Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Ordinance number 1132 amended has been approved, second and final reading. We'll move into new business. Item A, ordinance number 1133.
An ordinance to submit in referendum to the people of East Ridge, Tennessee, the question of amending the charter of the city of East Ridge, Tennessee by amending section 6-B1 of the charter. Mayor and council, this was, the city of East Ridge is one of 14 home rule municipalities in the state of Tennessee. It has concurrent jurisdiction, and there are various judicial districts in the state, and with regard to East Ridge, it is in the 11th Judicial District, which is located in Hamilton County. There are other municipalities that are home rule within Hamilton County. With respect to the residency requirement, it is countywide, and so this would, if the council approves this ordinance, then it would put it to a vote as to whether or not the city wants to remove the residency requirement and put it in line with the other municipalities which allow it to be countywide.
And Attorney Litchford, when you say put it to vote, you're referring to
It would be at this November election.
be on a
It'd put
referendum,
It'd be on a
on a
referendum.
ballot for the citizens to vote,
Correct, yes.
for or against.
That's correct.
Okay.
And this ordinance lays out what that question would be, and the question would be, the proposal is to modify section 6-B1 of the charter to be amended by removing the city residency requirement of the City of East Ridge Municipal Court and replacing the residency requirement with Hamilton County. And then I provide in the ordinance how it would read if approved, and that would be placed on the ballot for November 3rd of this general election.
All right, I will entertain a motion for an ordinance number 1133.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 1133.
Second the motion.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Witt and a second by Vice Mayor Helton. Do we have any discussion?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
When is
Councilman
the
Kennedy.
deadline this needs to be on the, into the election commission?
60 days.
Oh, 60 days?
Yeah, I've spoken with the chairman, and so we've got 60 days to get this to the chair of the election commission.
60 days prior to
Prior to the election.
election.
Excuse me.
Okay,
I'm sorry,
okay.
yeah. All right. And then talking with the election commission, their position is they want it at least 60, and he said generally their ballots go out 45 days because they send them out to military personnel for absentee voting. And so I was told that we'll get this in, and this will be, they'll get this on the ballot if approved.
Mayor.
Yes.
I would like to amend this ordinance to include the court clerk as well. I believe only city elected officials in the city who are the legislative branch should have city requirements to live within the district. We write policy, we set the property tax rate, we are the legislative branch. I think we're the only ones that should have a residency requirement to live in the city. I'm talking about the county, but the city.
Okay, so you move / motion to amend to include the court clerk as well.
Right.
So we'll need a second on that.
Yep, we'll need a second if. Last call for a second. I don't see a second. I think the motion to amend is died. Any other discussion concerning ordinance number 1133?
Well, I'm just gonna make a statement I personally think that every elected official needs to be residents of East Ridge. So something, it's nice to know some official that you can go talk to. Citizen, is a citizen. I don't know this guy up here in Udawal, Collegedale, East Brainerd. I don't know this guy, woman, so. I think that they need to still be a city residents to be an elected official here in East Ridge.
I understand.
That's my comment.
Understand, and I respect that comment, but, and I'm not going to vote, I'm not going to state either way. I will say this, that you're technically not voting to make that change.
That's
You're
right.
you're
That's
voting
right.
to put it on a ballot for the citizens to make that decision.
Understand what I'm doing.
So,
I'm just-
and I know you do, but I just
made
reiterate
comment.
that.
I just made that comment.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I got a question, Mayor. Well, Vice Mayor Helton's amendment, it's not that I'm totally against it. For one, I would personally like a little bit more time to think about that one, but probably would be, I would like for it to be a different ordinance. Be a separate ordinance. I know we're running short on time to get it all into the election commission, but I would not want those ordinances to run together. Am I making any sense with that? But can you hear me?
Yep, we heard you. Yep.
Okay. Again, I'm not really totally against the idea of her amendment, but I want more time to make that decision, but I would want it on a different ordinance.
Okay. Any other discussion?
That wouldn't give us time, would it?
That would be,
Have 2 readings on it.
we're looking here, 60 days is September 4th. We wouldn't have time to do that.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Well, our current court clerk's term doesn't end. I mean, so we'd still have time to change it, but
I think her reelection would be in 2 years.
yeah.
Yeah. So we'd be on the ballot at the same time that position is being,
Yeah, well, I'm saying if we did vote on it now, it wouldn't go into effect.
yeah, so it'd be 6 years before it would go in effect. Okay. All right, no other discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Well, I'm against the man not living in East Ridge or the lady, but I want to go ahead and vote yes to give the citizens the right to vote on it.
Councilmember Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Ordinance number 1133 passed first reading. Move to item B, resolution number 3065.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, accepting a proposal from WatchGuard, Inc. for a video management system and 2 in-car cameras for the East Ridge Police Department.
As Mayor Council, we put out a request for a proposal to put new in-car cameras in our 2 new marked patrol cars that are coming. The system that we have currently in all of our other patrol cars, we're starting to have some problems with. They've been in those cars for a long time. We wanted to look at something different. So we did the request for proposal. We sent it out to quite a few companies. We got 3 proposals back, and the one that met all of our criteria and was also the cheapest was WatchGuard Video. Their total price for the 2 cameras was $13,130 with a recurring fee of $495 per camera for storage of the videos.
If I remember correctly, this money was budgeted in the cars to begin with.
Yes, it was budget, not in the cars, but in the equipment to put into the cars. The lights, the sirens, the console, all of that was a separate bid.
Have to go out and borrow you any money.
No, this comes out of our drug fund.
Okay.
Yeah, it comes out of the drug fund.
Yeah.
Because we were, that I was going to ask if we could take it out of that, grant money we're fixing to spend $153,000 out of.
Now, what I will say is, correct me if I'm wrong, you're buying the cameras out of the drug fund.
Correct.
The 400 and whatever,
That has to be budgeted.
that is an operational cost.
We cannot
Because
pay-
you can't
We can't use
pay
drug fund for
reoccurring
that.
costs out of the drug fund.
No, that's
So
correct.
that's the maintenance cost.
Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3065.
Motion to approve resolution 3065.
A second.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Cagle and a second from Councilmember Chauncey. Do we have any discussion? I have one. So the custom signals in the Exxon, they do not have a reoccurring cost annually?
They do,
They do as well?
right.
Okay, okay.
Their,
just-
their total price was.
Yeah, I see their total price is
higher.
way off. I just didn't know if there was a reoccurring charge with them as well, so they are. Okay, you just didn't list it because they were so high and out of ballpark. Correct?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. That was all I had. The only question I had was if they had recurring cost as well. All right. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Item C, resolution number 3066.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, memorializing the appointment to the East Ridge Housing Commission.
All right, so this is a appointment by Vice Mayor Helton to the East Ridge Housing Commission. Vice Mayor Helton, do you have an appointment?
Yes, I do. I'm going to reappoint Jim Winters.
All right. I will entertain a motion for the appointment of Jim Winters to the Housing Commission.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Councilmember Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Cagle. Any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. I move to item D, Resolution 3067.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Eastridge, Tennessee, memorializing the appointment to the Eastridge Housing Commission. Commissioner, or Councilwoman Witt.
Thank you, sir. All right. Councilmember Witt, do you have an appointment?
Yes, I am going to reappoint Jeff Esale.
All right, thank you very much. I will entertain a motion for
Make
the
motion to
appointment of
approve.
Jeff Sale. Thank you, Councilmember Chauncey. Do I have a second? All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Chauncey and a second by Vice Mayor Helton. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Item number E, resolution number 3068.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Eastridge, Tennessee, memorializing the appointment to the Eastridge Planning Commission. Mayor Williams.
So that is my appointment to the Planning Commission. So I had spoken to Mickey Spence, who was a previous appointment. With the new change, the ordinance to the titles and boards, he was aware that he would possibly have to step down from one to serve on another one with the limitation of one. He gave me his decision he would like to remain on the Planning Commission and he would resign from the Zoning Appeals Board. We had the amendment now that has changed that to allow two, so I will then give him that option if he still would like to resign or if he'd like to retain on both. And that Zoning Appeals Board is appointment from Councilmember Chauncey, and that expires in '22. So I'll give him that option since we've amended that to allow two, but he was willing to resign from the Planning Commission, from the Zoning Commission, the Zoning Appeals Board to continue to stay on the Planning Commission. So I wanted to explain that. So I will appoint Mickey Spence to the Planning Commission. So I will entertain a motion for that appointment.
Make motion to approve.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Councilmember Chauncey and a second by Vice Mayor Helton. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. All right, we'll move to item F, resolution number 3069.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Eastridge, Tennessee, authorizing the city to spend funds from the Governor's Local Government Support Grant for one-time needed expenses in the amount of $156,433.31 for information technology IT purchases.
As
Yes, sir.
y'all are aware, Mark said the city was awarded a grant from the governor that can be used for
Yes, lined up.
one-time
There we go.
IT expenses. And I'm asking for that amount of money, the bulk of which would be used for two things, mainly replacing the police computers as well as some other outdated equipment. By police computers, I mean about 35 laptops used by the patrol officers. Those laptops as well as the other computers are running outdated hardware as well as Microsoft 7. Microsoft has said that they're no longer supporting Windows 7 and that all computers need to be moved to Windows 10. So I'm asking y'all to help with that. And then the second part of the money would be spent on replacing outdated equipment, servers mainly, and a switch that over years that should have been replaced, but I guess never got replaced or fell to the wayside, the bulk of which we give the city a dedicated email server, which resolve a lot of problems that I see constantly. People complaining mainly about not being able to receive attachments from people outside the city from the health insurance companies, police officers a lot, receiving case files, pictures, and videos videos. I hear that quite often from the detectives. They're having to resort to other means, such as having, for instance, shoplifters and crimes committed in stores. The retailers are having to actually burn the videos and have the officers go to the local store to pick up the actual copy on CD and bring it back, whereas if they were able to receive it via email, it would be much quicker in helping their prosecution and capture of whoever committed the crime. Then the other would be used for a dedicated file server. Right now, the seized file server is pretty much maxed, the bulk of which is police officers storing case files and other information that could be subject to the Tennessee Open Records Act. That's pretty much what the money's going to be used for, replacing patrol laptops and upgrading outdated network equipment, mainly servers.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Josh. And I believe the number, the $156,433 is either right on or very close to the number we did. Remember, we did a resolution a little while back with what our intent was going to be for the originally for the $496,000. That's very close to what our original plan was for at least a portion of that money.
All right. I will entertain a motion for resolution number 3069.
I make a motion to approve resolution 3069.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Witt and a second by Councilmember Cagle. Do we have any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I misunderstood you, Will. You said we did a resolution for this back then?
No, we did a resolution, I believe it was in June when all this was first coming up. At that point, we thought we were going to have to do an application for all of this. And at that point, we said in our application, we put in what we wanted, what we were going to spend on the different items. And this was the amount we had originally planned when we were doing that.
I'm not a computer person, but $9,000 seems like an awful lot of money for setup and configuration. Yeah, it just seems like a lot of money.
I'm going to try to get my middle son, my middle child to go into that business.
Which item are you looking at?
I'm looking at 7, 8, and 9, I think it is.
Computer repairs, computer tech.
Okay, the first one for the network switch. The switch actually from Dell will be about $4,461.48. The additional $4,000 is actually for eBright, or if we choose to have somebody else come in and set it up and configure it. That was just an estimate that eBright provided to me based on the cost.
So we got 4,000, 4,000, 1,000, that's $9,000.
Those are just estimates that they gave me, what it would take based on their current cost for man hours and the labor amount.
Higher or lower if we don't go through eBright?
Yeah, it could be, but I plan, whoever we go through, I feel that we would come close to those amounts and wouldn't exceed this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I will say I've been in the computer business for quite a while, and I know it seems high, but you take $4,000 and spread it over 20 hours or a week, and it burns quick. So we have a motion and a second. Roll call, Ms. Middleton. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize for stopping you. This grant is specific to what we could use this for, right? So this grant that we're using this money, there was certain criteria that we had to submit.
Yes,
So
so certain areas it could be used for, and that was all.
Right, so this is a restricted type grant, so I wanted to make that clear, that couldn't be used for certain other, just anything in general.
Right.
Okay. I'm sorry. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Resolution
Thank
number
you.
3069 passed. Thank you, sir. Move to item G, resolution number 3070.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving the contract extension for the Tennessee Department of Transportation Safe Routes to School grant.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Mayor and Council. Assistant City Manager Custer had alluded to some of our projects taking a little time to get off the ground. And one of those is Safe Routes to School. We've tried to coordinate with the multimodal project because we will be going into an intersection to tie into the storm drain system. And of course, we've also had other projects going on. So the contract that we currently have is about to expire September 1st. This would be the first amendment or extension application that we're asking for. So we're making it for December 31st of 2021. That way, of course, it's not going to take that long, I hope, but it gives us enough time that we wouldn't have to ask again for another extension.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3070.
I make a motion to approve resolution 3070.
A second.
All right, I have a couple motions.
No.
So first I got a motion from Vice Mayor Helton, and then I got the motion from Councilmember Witt, and then a second by Councilmember Chauncey, so I think we're covered.
Okay.
Any
We
discussion?
can't hear
I know
Esther
there's
as
a
well.
delay. There seems like there's
Yeah.
a delay.
My mic is on.
I don't know why. Sometimes I can't hear.
Yeah, if she backs out just a little bit, it goes out on.
Yeah, we apologize, but we got it covered.
Make a motion too, then.
Yeah, I know. A couple more motions, we'll have a unanimous motion here. Any discussion?
I got one.
Yes, sir.
Do we have another Safe Routes to School grant, or are they all combined into one? I'm speaking mainly of Spring Creek down here. I thought we had
That
one
was
for
not
it.
a construction. That was a program grant. And because of running out of time with that particular grant, we only used a very small portion of those funds. And unfortunately, we weren't able to transfer those over to the East Ridge construction project. But those were completed very quickly at the very beginning of that grant.
Any other questions? So let's go with Vice Mayor Helton made the motion first that I heard, and then we'll go with the
Second by Chauncey.
Second by, yes, by Councilmember Chauncey. Thank you. Councilmember Witt.
You're welcome.
Roll call, please. Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Mayor and council. on
Thank
that
you.
one.
Resolution number 3070 passed. We'll move to item H, the grant consent agenda.
Resolution number 3071, a resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the application for and acceptance of the Target Youth Soccer Grant. Resolution number 3072, a resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving the application for and acceptance of the fiscal year 2020 State Justice Institute Court Pandemic Response and Recovery Grant.
And I know that is a mouthful to say. Starting with the Target Youth Soccer Grant, this is something that we apply for pretty much every year. I don't think there's been a year in the past 2 or 3 that we haven't applied for it. It's a $1,000 grant, no match, and Shauna's able to buy equipment and soccer balls and things like that for all the different little teams. So we want to apply for that one again. And the State Justice Institute is a new grant. Because of the COVID and the pandemic that's going on, you've noticed that a lot of courts have been closed for quite some time, and some of them are able to go to virtual and some of them aren't. But our criminal court at the moment is going virtual. Judge Helton is actually using his own laptop. So what we are proposing to do, and this is a non-match grant either, is to buy 2 laptops, one for Judge Helton to use while having the hearings, and one for the court clerk, Cassidy, for her to enter in the motions and the other details at the same time, so that'll save them time. And of course, in case we continue doing the virtual criminal court cases, this gives them an opportunity in case one of the laptops breaks down or, some other issue that we may have.
Thank you. I have a question, but I'm going to wait. I'll entertain a motion for this grant consent agenda.
I make a motion to.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Vice Mayor Helton and a second by Councilmember Cagle. Do we have any discussion? Mine was just clarification. It is for not to exceed 5,000. Is that correct? Did you say that, or did I miss it?
No, I'm sorry, I did
okay.
not mention that, but it
It's
is
okay.
in the resolution. We will not exceed $5,000 unless the costs
Okay.
of the laptops go up. We can come back to council if we need to later on, but
Okay.
the process that I got kept us around 4,000, gives us some money to actually buy programs that they need, to operate the computer with.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you. Grant consent agenda approved. We'll move to item I, discussion of the tentative agenda for August 27th council meeting. So under old business, we'll have one item. It's ordinance number 1133. It's the ordinance to submit in referendum to the people of East Ridge, Tennessee, the question of amending the charter of the city of East Ridge, Tennessee by amending section 6B1 of the charter. That would be the second and final reading, and that is pertaining to the residency. Correct, Mr.
Yes.
Litchford? Okay. So, do we have any discussion on this? I see none. Under new business would be a unnumbered resolution, the approval of the EPB cable franchise agreement.
Yes, Mayor and Council, this deals with EPB, just the cable franchise agreement that's usually for a period of 10 years, and Janet brought to our attention that it's time to renegotiate and to approve a new franchise agreement. So this one expires on September 1st, 2020, so it'll be on the next council agenda for the approval of you all, and it would go for another 10 years, and we're still going through a little bit of the language, but we just want to make sure we got it in the hopper
Okay.
for the next meeting.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any questions, discussions?
I asked the attorney today, he's supposed to get me back some answers.
Yeah, and Councilman Cagle had asked, is this related solely to cable, or is it also including phone and broadband? I don't believe it includes phone. I'm looking into whether it includes broadband. It is a cable system, and so I pulled up, you've got to go to the Cable Communications Policy Act. It's a federal act that was approved in 1984, and so I will look at that to see, but this is a cable system. What I don't have an answer is whether or not it includes broadband as well. I don't believe it includes telephone.
The reason for the question is, we get a franchise fee for the cable, we get a franchise fee for the internet.
Question?
Yep. Good question. Any other questions? I see none. Is there any other business that we need to add to the tentative agenda for next council meeting?
Oh, budget amendment.
Okay, that's right.
2 minutes, Qualls.
What you do, spend our money. You are doing that, yes. You also get revenues. Thank you. Anything else we need to add? I see nothing. thank you for hanging in there. We appreciate everyone's time, concerns, thoughts for our city. Everyone have a good evening. This meeting will be adjourned.